Hello everybody, how are you going? Welcome to looking at what the rest of the world's real estate is truly like, where this time I want to check out the UK on Zoopla, as I've spent now a decent amount of time over in North America, from the very top of Alaska, all over Canada, and even some of the states on Zillow. But just what does Zoopla here have for me in store? Now, I know that the pound is basically double in terms of Canadian and Australian dollars. I guess would be slightly different for USD, but what can we get all the way up to, I guess, about £500,000. Now it's automatically just showing me 500,000, which I hadn't really seen or even thought of before. I just started with London because I thought, well, that's kind of the epicenter. So if I zoom in, I know that London is a very expensive part of the world, but man, to be starting with a 1 bed, 1 bath, 1 reception, 470 square foot. So even that, I'm going to have to get it through my head that the UK uses square feet, but it's already $1 million just for a 1 bed, 1 bath. I guess I might as well just see what they have on offer. Now, I guess before I go too far, I do just want to see, yes, okay, it is in London, not like out on the outskirts. No. London. So at least the price starts to make a little bit more sense, but at $1,117 per square foot, it's not going to be cheap. But what kind of photos do we have here? It looks very nicely presented. It looks nicely enough presented, but only being a 1 bed, 1 bath. I guess it's not a studio, but man, it's going to be close. At only 427 square foot, was it? So only divided by 10, like 45 to 50 square meters. That's not too big at all, isn't it? I mean, for $1 million, I don't know. I don't know how to. I'd have no context, and I guess that's what this entire thing is truly about. But it doesn't look like $1 million so far, because as much as it is clean, it's also not majorly renovated. I mean, I guess that's a nice enough outlook onto a courtyard, and I wonder if that's shared balconies, I can only presume. And I mean, that's what you do get in across all of Europe, but let's say London in particular, compared to any New York, Sydney, any of these places, you are going to be having that heritage, which is going to be a good and bad part, because I can only imagine some of the strata fees or building maintenance fees are going to be through the roof from leaking. But in a way, if it's still standing now, you can kind of trust it to be still standing for a while. I mean, it's a nice enough building, interesting trim and whatnot around the windows. I can only presume that there's going to be stuff around, considering it is the middle of London, and it doesn't seem to be on a major road. But actually, considering that this is London, this is actually a pretty wide road. So I guess you're going to be having to take all of those things into consideration. And so, like I said, for $1 million, I feel like we can do a little bit better than that. I mean, there are some very sneaky ones that I'm seeing in there, like £1.2 million, and especially this £8 million right here. 5 bed detached house for sale for $8 million. Wow. I kind of want to look at it because that is a house, but first of all, I just want to be seeing where else is another 500-ish thousand pounds one. Is this one? Show me this guy. What do we have? 2 bed flat for sale with 2 beds, actually 2 baths and a reception. It's interesting. Oh, is that like a living? I was thinking reception, like a reception at the bottom of the apartment, but do they actually mean like living area? Because it's got a couch in there. I would like to know. Either way, it's a little bit bigger, which you would hope from a 2-bedroom apartment, but ground rent. What does ground rent mean? I mean, I could take a guess. Ground rent is a payment made by the leaseholder under the terms on a lease on a regular basis. Huh? Oh my goodness, there's so many new terminologies that I'm just going to have to be learning as well. But the council land tax, tenants at leasehold 172 years. Whoa! Like I said, there are just some long-standing buildings around here. I would love to know, how long was the lease? Was it 200 years? If they're saying 172 years remaining? Ooh, all right then. Well, I don't know if that's going to be the best for so many people, or too many people, because wow, that is brown. But considering it's directly in the east-west, well, it's only really an east-west runway, but considering it's right off the runway, right there, are you going to be too happy with all that aeroplane noise? I don't know. I mean, a bundle of London is going to be a flight path, but still, I mean, at least you're close to the O2 and plenty of other things. But so much of London is going to be that. So do you want to live directly right as they're coming into land, right there? Maybe that's why it is only $1 million for a 2-bedroom apartment compared to the other one, which was kind of a studio for more. However, let me just not get too ahead of myself. And so if I go images, let's take a gander at what this is going to be offering up. And so downlighting, nice enough kitchen. I mean, it's a small enough kitchen, but for that size property, it makes total sense. I wonder what kind of flooring that is. I can only presume probably engineered floor or something. I mean, it's got a view. Kind of, I mean, you're not at the lowest thing around, so you seemingly are on a high enough story, but it's nothing too crazy. A random cupboard, though, that they keep seemingly be showing. Where are these bedrooms, though? Okay, so there we go, nice and carpeted, little built-in wardrobe. On the outside, I might want to see the floor plan. See, there we go. This one looks a lot nicer compared to the last one, at least from a renovated point of view from the bathroom. Just like the other one, just looked a little bit more outdated compared to that. That's fine, but considering you're getting one or the other, if you took away the flight path situation, I can only presume this would be like a £600,000-700,000 apartment, surely. So as long as you do have what looked like triple glazing, both from I guess it's London, so they're going to be having some nice beefy windows for the cold, which are also going to be good at the noise. So as long as you can deal with that, it's not the worst I've ever seen. For $1 million compared to the other one for $1 million, I reckon I would take this one. However, now just moving down in the world, so to say, we are down to $450,000 for a 2-bed flat for sale. See, 2 beds, 1 bath, but no, what was it called? Reception. Yes, so no reception on this bad boy. And so I wonder why that is, but 785. So it's basically the same size, but without a reception. I do want to be seeing where this is located. Okay, it looks like it's a bit more out of London, which I don't know the exact kind of scale of London, but I don't think it's too far. Well, at least not from a Sydneysider's perspective, or an American perspective as well. Probably wouldn't consider that to be too far. But in London, in Europe, you might as well be out in the sticks. You might as well be all the way down in Brighton. But here we go. What do we have from an images point of view? I mean, we've got very simple lighting, just one little light in the middle of the room, no downlights or anything. Compared to the other ones, it's lacking a little bit in that department. Also the heating. What was the heating in this place? Was it just aircon? I can only presume, as it looks probably a little bit newer. I don't know if that's a stove. No, the stove's here. So where is the heating? Because it's definitely going to have it, but I don't know where it is. Whereas this one is just using the old school radiators, which apparently can work very, very well. And people do love the heat that they can give out, just a real kind of natural warmth. But comparatively speaking, I guess they might be a hazard and they're not as modernized, and I guess that just tells you the age of the building or how updated they have made this building. Again, with the fluoro in the kitchen, just absolute, just functional lighting, I guess. No form, just stark and brutally stark at that. Just makes me think that surely they could just put a little bit of money into just making it a bit nicer. But hey, it seems to just be doing its job. And speaking of doing its job, I've also just clocked that that isn't a dishwasher. That is in fact the washing machine, which is different to other countries in the world. But a lot of people, when they think about it for more than 2 seconds, go, I guess it's not a big deal. It makes sense to have kind of all your appliances, so to say, in one area. You can do all the bits from the cooking to the cleaning, from the washing to that, all in one place. And if you don't have the space for it to go elsewhere, like a laundry, like a lot of massive American mansions seem to have, then it makes sense to be putting it in the kitchen. It just is seemingly a little bit out of place for a lot of Australian and North American eyes. But otherwise, I mean, look, this place certainly seems very functional in terms of just, there's no mold growing anywhere. It's clean enough. It's not stylized, but it's fine. There's beds, or was it a 2-bedder, I believe? So a bed in the roof cavity to a degree, but there is a little bit of something going along around that roof corner. I don't know what to call that. Either way, there's downlights in here, but either way, for $425,000, $450,000 at £573 per square foot, it's a little bit cheaper than the other ones compared to, what was this, 1,000? So for half the square foot price, you were certainly not getting half the property. In fact, you were getting more than double the property. It's just a little bit further out. But look, I feel as though it's now just about time that I start stepping up the price bracket a little bit. And so even though I do have those couple of million pluses, I just want to see, what does £800,000 get me? 4 beds, okay, a house. Is there anything else? This one, I can go back to that one. Wow, also 800,000, 3 beds. I reckon we'll go to the 4 if I can get it. 400,000. You weren't it was the top one, which look is certainly stepping it up in the price bracket, going from 450, 550 all the way up to 800,000 is not nothing. but it's certainly not linear. It's not like, okay, you paid for one, you paid for 400,000, you pay for two, you pay for 600,000. All of a sudden, you're paying 800,000. It's a little bit out, it looked like, but you get 4 beds in a house. And so how much is it? It doesn't say the square footage price. And for 800,000 for this kind of guy, I reckon this one is what I'm going for so far. I mean, like I said, it's a different price bracket, but still, if you can afford it, I know what I'm going. Some people I'm sure would just love to live in London, but surely for the 4-bedroom house, unless it's got problems, or unless you're in another flight path, or unless it's just completely horrid of an area, I reckon this one makes a lot more sense in terms of bang for buck. But to be fair, maybe I'm just jumping to conclusions a little bit too early, and so what do we have? Nothing too, well, I was about to say nothing too crazy, but to be honest, there is a little bit of a spice in that kitchen from the floor. I've actually just realized, or comprehended, that is the floor. I mean, I was looking at the red, pinky, salmony fridge and the splashback and the kettle. Kind of cool, kind of funky. Sure, just do whatever you want. Okay, they certainly like red. I'm just noticing how many little things are red. But then to make the floor red lino, I can only presume as well, it's bold. It kind of works. In contrast to the white, everything else is white. You got the dishwasher down this end, but then the washing machine at that end, that's weird. Swap them around. I guess it's close to the sink though. Oh man, the British homes are going to do my head in. But geez, overall, if you like a bit of spice in your kitchen, so to say, I reckon it is going to be for you. And actually, now that I've got that in my mind, I feel like I'm seeing a lot of that color around. So maybe they bought too much of that color and they just decided to stuff it. We've got a whole 10 litres left over. We're painting and making everything that colour. Fridge, you were not safe. Kettle, you were not safe. Photos, you were not able to recreate the right colour. But even that, it's got a nice island, bench top, breakfast bar, whatever you want to be calling it. The fridge, second fridge is over there. Okay, sure, why not? Maybe this is an entertainer's house and you just need to be really catering for a lot of people. I mean, wow, okay, bifolds in the UK. I don't think I see that, or I don't think I've ever seen that. In terms of the environment doesn't usually lend it, so people don't really think about that indoor-outdoor, but I like it from an Australian point of view. You see that and you go, oh, that's like home. Open up those doors, let the flies in, so to say. Look at that. That is a pretty, I guess, skinny, but pretty lush-looking garden, and I guess I shouldn't expect any less than that from the UK. They just have so much water floating around. You can grow anything that wants water, but still, it's a it's not manicured, but it's a well looked after, kind of thought out garden. It's cozy. It's a cozy garden. The other bedrooms with the old fireplaces, fair enough, little alcove, and so yeah, overall, there's nothing in this house that is making me go, no. Like, you know, if you really don't like it, you can change the color of the floor in the kitchen or the fridge. Maybe even the tiles in here are going to be a bit gaudy for some people, but just paint them white at the easiest and cheapest way. Otherwise, redo the whole bathroom if you just want to get rid of the curved shower and the chrome foot bath. Oh man, they certainly haven't updated some of these things, but overall it's still fine. Big enough bedrooms in this 4-bedroom place just to be doing whatever you want in terms of arrangement, being able to just store your entire family, and look at that. Yeah, I reckon that's a fairly decent ratio of inside to outside, and especially for the UK, I mean, you don't want too big of a house, but considering not many people seem to be able to use their backyards, I reckon that's pretty nice to have all that green space if you can truly use it. And so like I said, for £800,000, which is what, $1.6 million, sorry, that's actually not too bad. I guess I should just see how far exactly is it from the center of London. So I guess if I just go straight from London, so to say, up to, where was it, here, I believe? Okay, that's only 13 kilometers. Is that right? Is that where it was? If I go down to here, I guess, actually, I hadn't really noticed that it's on a major road and a train line and a school. Well, school will give you brownie points, but the main road and the train line, maybe that might cause some problems for people. Either way, was I correct with its location? I believe so. So if it's just up there, 13 kilometers, that's really not that far. How long would that take to get from there to there? Let's just say you wanted to go from roughly there to the O2 Dome. It would take you 30 minutes. Is that the worst? No, that's via car, or is that 35 minutes via driving, for an hour via public transport. So if you're not in the middle of the city, you're certainly not in London, so to say, but in Greater London, absolutely 30-minute drive, no worries. So now it is finally time to break that £1 million mark, where usually I go for $1 million and we immediately just started off with that, which is pretty crazy considering it's in pounds, the numbers get completely skewed in your head, but it is London, and London is one of the most expensive cities in the world. And so considering I'm not venturing that far out to get £1 million now, surely it might give you a bit, but I don't expect, honestly, that much in comparison to what a lot of people will be expecting. So for £1.2 million, and there is one more that I want to check out after this, but for £1.2 million at a 1,515 a square foot, which is crazy considering the first one wasn't that much difference at 1,117. And now this one is 30% more, so to say, or 50% more, but you're going all the way up to £1.2 million. That is pretty crazy. Still though, only a 2-bed, 2-bath. Wow, I didn't actually expect that. So what are you getting for this much money? I guess you're getting contemporary because it's already looking stylized to a degree, but at the same time, nice, but man, just expensive. It just reeks of just paying for the sake of it. And if you've got the money and you like it, it's fully renovated, nothing to touch. Just walk in and enjoy your downlights, your curtains, your couch, your everything. But it doesn't feel like you're getting that much. When I thought from the last one going from a 4-bedder now back to a 2-bedder, that's a big change. And especially when you're getting 50% more price. I mean, let's just quickly see if I go to the map, where is it? Okay. That makes a lot more sense for a brand new, I can only presume, basically house in the middle of London. But at the same time, what do we have for the floor plan? Why, really? I had to open a whole new thing just for the floor plan? I guess. Okay, that's pretty tiny. Let me just zoom this bad boy in. Oh, wow. Okay, then. So you have a full sky garden and terrace. I didn't even get to those photos yet, but that explains, I guess, why it's going to be so expensive. Because you're not actually paying for that much house. I mean, it's all yours, but you're not paying for that much. That's why it's only a 2-bedder and not a 3-bedder. So what do we have on the rest of these images? Because there is a lot of them, but I didn't see any outdoor. I mean, really? Why does it not show any outdoor? Look, I mean, I'm just scouring them, but this goes from bed to bed to bed to then pool and gym. And I don't see any outdoor. Wow, that's surprising. I mean, unless it's not a thing that you can access. But no, there's sliding doors there. What? Wait, let me just see if I can find what they are talking about. You've got bedroom. Did it really show the living room? And does it show a deck out there? I'm just trying to get my bearings. And I believe that, yeah, we're looking out onto the apparent sky garden, but I don't see that. So is the sky garden not shared? Or I don't really get it. Like, are you looking out onto a courtyard that is a garden? Or how does a sky garden work in this sense? Because it's not a balcony, or at least nothing that I can really see there. It looks like you're just looking directly onto the opposing apartments, which even that, not mounds of privacy. You know, you can have all this glass and pay extra for all this glass, but it just means that you are going to be colder in winter, warmer in summer, and spied upon all year round. And so honestly, for £1.2 million, I'm definitely not taking that. I mean, there's 1.5 million here, and that's more of a house, 4 beds, 2 baths. For a little bit more, yeah, sure, you could maybe go for that one, but really, I want to know what this £8 million one is truly going to be. For 16 million AUD, basically 16 million Canadian, and maybe what, like 11 million USD, what can you get? You get a 5-bedroom detached house for sale in London. I mean, I guess once again, I do want to see in kilometers. Okay, it's not actually that far out, is it? Just out from Camden Town, up near Hampstead Heath. We are going to be looking once again, like I said, in kilometers from, sure, down here up to Hampstead Heath. Am I missing? No, it's over here. Hampstead Heath, right there, 12 kilometers. That's not far at all. So it makes sense why you're going to be having it. Well, it doesn't make sense, but it makes more sense why it's going to be £8 million. But what do we have? From even just viewing a couple of those photos, it looked pretty nice. Wow, fully gated, classic London red brick, so to say. Man, the UK made a lot of bricks in the Industrial Revolution, billions and billions of them. But look at that. Wow. That's some nice timber work, multiple stories, proper flooring, full sliding doors, even just that just changes the game entirely. And at least I can see somewhere where the money is actually gone. I just don't hate its gaudy taste. But look at that, recessed full ceilings. The other one did have it as well, but just you can see. Oh man, I would like to see a floor plan of this place, because you can just see that it's in a different caliber compared to anything else that we have seen already. However, to be fair, the 1.2 million one just wasn't that crazy, especially even for its location. But 1.2 million for that, for 2.4 million for what we just saw, that's pretty crazy for a sky garden that doesn't apparently exist. But look, coming back to this one, it has certainly been thought about, from the floor to ceiling cabinetry and just the LED strips everywhere. My goodness, they had them on the stairs, they had them in the roof, they have them in the kitchen. I mean, it's a very sleek looking kitchen, but so far for 16 million, I mean, it's not that far out of London, but it is expensive for what I've seen. Is that a TV down there? That's a weird aspect TV if I've ever seen it, but I don't know what else it would be. Otherwise though, we'll continue on. I mean, it's not a massive courtyard for 16 million. Bit of indoor outdoor, I guess, but still, surely there is more to this place. What is that? At first I thought, oh, that must be a pool. And then I went, no, that's not a pool. That's a big glass pane. But why are you looking down to your massive basement? Your massive, okay, full theater room makes sense in terms of price. Pool makes sense in terms of price. That's a big underground pool, which I guess is kind of what that must be. That big skylight is going down there, which is nice, with a sauna as well. They're just ticking boxes at this point, which start just putting up the price. But that's a hell of a, wow, marble on the walls. They just spent money for the sake of it on this price. It's not even that crazy of a place, so to say, but they just made it expensive. Full in-house surround sound, so to say. Full cupboards, or maybe that's a walk-in wardrobe, but I don't know of many walk-in wardrobes that are covered like that. What, you got to remember where every single shirt that you put is? That would be so annoying. At least just put it out of sight, but not out of mind, so to say, or out of mind, but not out of sight. That wall of books, however, is an interesting choice, as the rest of the place is super just chic and super kind of minimalist to a degree, and then you just have the busyness of a wall of bookcase, which is cool, but I just wouldn't have expected it there. And especially compared to the rest of the living room, like, it's just not that grand, is it? That's what I guess I'm just trying to get at. None of this place just feels grand. It's like, oh, that's an expensive hotel room maybe, but it doesn't feel like a $16 million place. I mean, cool, nice conversion, fair enough, another bedroom in the roof, just capitalizing on all the different spaces. I guess that's the bathroom for upstairs. Nice entry to what I can only presume is the house, but overall, considering there's no garage, I don't think, unless it's over on the left here at whatever that skylighty thing is, because that pool's down there. For $16 million, would I have that? Not in a million years. I mean, it's nice, but like I said, it just feels like a hotel room. You can see all these different areas and media room and swimming pool and bedroom and patio, but again, for 16 million, I mean, that shot should not be their first one. This should be their first shot. But man, for 16 million, it certainly just skews the entire thing high. And so look, out of all of these places, none of them have been cheap. Like I said, starting out at $1 million AUD, Canadian, and even just USD for the sake of it, starting out for $1 million for a one-bedroom flat that was nice enough, a couple of plans, but nothing crazy, not recently renovated to the utmost end with marble on the walls or anything like that. And so in that case, I can certainly see why people go, London is out of control. London truly is, when you go through all these different places, 450, 500, 800, whatever it may be, you have all these different things that just don't add up. You have patios that don't exist, terraces that don't exist, money that just is spent for the sake of it, but not actually in an area that seems to make sense. Like if you bought this place for £3 million, I'd go, okay, but for £8 million, there are better things and better places in the world where you could probably move to, set up a very nice established lifestyle, pay for anything you could ever want, and with a house that's way nicer than that for £8 million. For 16 million, I reckon you can do better than that. And so London, you're a very nice city, you win plenty of awards, you're always in the top 10 of international cities, but do something about your house prices and your styling, because my goodness, you are expensive.